Giddy up, Scoob! Oh, no. You giddy up. No, you giddy up. No, you giddy up. You giddy up. No, you giddy up. Okay, we both giddy up. Double giddy up. On the double.
Hey everyone, welcome to Warner Brothers Home Entertainment's New York Comic-Con panel for Happy Halloween Scooby-Doo, the latest presentation from one of the most beloved cartoon franchises in the world. And don't forget, Happy Halloween Scooby-Doo is now available to own on DVD and digital HD. I am so excited to be here with this panel of talent. We've got Maxwell Atoms, who is the film's producer, director, and writer, who also, I believe, wrote a song in the movie.
Yeah, I did, actually.
Yes. Very cool. Then we have Frank Welker, the longest running voice of a single character in animation history as Fred Jones for 50 years. Not to mention being the official voice of Scooby-Doo for the past 18 years. Wow, okay. Then we have Griffin, the voice of Daphne for the past 2 decades in film, TV series, shorts, and video games. And then, of course, Matthew Lillard, the definitive Shaggy for live action and animation for the past 18 years. He is the Burt Ward, Adam West of Scooby-Doo. And then we've got Kate Micucci, the voice of our hyper-intelligent and very evolved Velma since 2015. And our special guest, Cassandra Peterson, best known as Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, for the past 35 years and a guest star in this film, who I consider one of the all-time greatest icons of Halloween and horror programming. Cassandra, welcome. Thank you so much. I still maintain that Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, the movie, should be spoken with the same reverence as people do with Hocus Pocus. I'm so grateful for that movie, and I'm so loving you playing with the Scooby-Doo gang. So first off, let's talk about the historical significance of this panel. This is the first time we have had all 4 of the Mystery Incorporated team together on one panel. How about that?
That's crazy. I will say, to be on this panel with Frank Welker is unbelievable. I know I get to sit next to you for the last 18 years, which I couldn't be happier about. But you are a legend, and the fact that, can we just spend the next hour talking about Frank
Right?
and Cassandra, obviously. I can't wait to hear all your answers.
Maxwell, putting this together, you have your talent, you have the voices, you know that they're perfect for it. What did you do with this one to try to make it different from previous Halloweens?
Really, I just wanted to lean on the Halloween stuff and just make the Halloweeniest Halloween special I could. And then when I started writing it, I realized that pretty much any monster is a Halloween monster and also a Scooby-Doo monster. So I think that's how I ended up with pumpkins as one of the villains, because I had pumpkins in a Halloween special for Billy and Mandy about 20 years ago. And this was just sort of convergent evolution where I decided, well, there's nothing more Halloween-y than pumpkins. And it just sort of went that way.
Mandy appreciates that. That was fun.
Let's talk about the plot, because it actually starts off in a very interesting, first of all, I totally want to live in Crystal Cove because they have the greatest Halloween parade ever. But you get to also combine universes because you introduce a villain who's not exactly in the Scooby-Doo realm.
Yeah, I was sort of shocked that I got away with that.
Yeah.
You know, that I feel like every time I work for a different studio, they're always like, yeah, we want synergy. And then you're like, well, what if we did this and this? And they're like, no, that's just dumb.
Just to hear them mentioning, you know, without Batman and Robin being involved in it, like to hear Jonathan Crane and Gotham City and Arkham Asylum, I was like, I'm thinking that's where this is going. And then it heads into almost like a crazy pumpkin fried critters story.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of 80s influence on top of the 60s influence in this one.
This is Elvira's second time with the Scooby-Doo gang. She keeps coming back. And Cassandra, this is your third time doing a voice, right?
Yes, we're doing a voice, that's right.
So what's the fun of playing in this world?
I have an awesome part throughout the entire show. And the ending cracked me up so bad, and it's so funny.
It was probably one of my favorite surprises of any movie this year. It is, without ruining it, I feel like it's one of the funniest jokes that no one has ever thought to answer until this one. And it's such a weird twist. I love it. Daphne and Elvira have a very interesting relationship. It becomes so strange, and you start to wonder, like, what is going on with Daphne? Let's talk about these two. Why does this combination work so well? Because they're the last two I would think to go together.
We've been sex symbols for 25 years. More than
That's it. There you go. Goth sex symbols.
Yes. I grew up with Elvira. We've done so many celebrity episodes, and I'm like, okay, you know, fine. This was the only one I really wanted to record. I was like, do we get to meet her? And they were like, no, not today, you know. But it was funny because my grandma and I used to watch Elvira when I was little, and it was like our thing. And when my grandma passed away, about 2 weeks later, I went to a casino, and I was like, Grandma, which machine should I play? You know, just give me a sign. And all of a sudden, over the casino, I see this Elvira machine. I went over there and put $20 in it, and I won $1,500. So Grandma, and then I got this sounds crazy. Then I got like a medium reading, and the medium was like, your grandma said she gave you a really big birthday present this year. And I was like, it was the Elvira machine. Oh my God. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Just talk about how amazing it is that you have a slot machine inspired by your character.
I think I'm on my 7th or 8th slot machine now. Yeah, and this one's really awesome because the seat vibrates.
Yes, and it's funny. I was laughing the whole time. She's got all these zingers in it. It's phenomenal. Lots of
Thank
booby
you.
jokes.
Thank you.
Well, there's a ton of zingers in this. Let's take a look at the heroic team up of Elvira and Daphne, kind of the Crystal Cove version of Thelma and Louise here.
Guys, over here! Come on!
Coming through.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg with these two. There is a whole transformation that happens that is hilarious. But you're not the only guest star. We also have Bill Nye turning back up. I'm a little torn. We'll talk about this in a second, but it's Bill Nye's second time in a Scooby-Doo movie. For Kate, what's it like having the other Brainiac show up?
It's Bill Nye. He's the coolest. I've been watching him since I was little, and so yeah. I think it was. I would share you know, brainy stories with Bill Nye any day. But in real life, I've actually had real life brainy stories with Bill Nye, and he's fascinating, and I it's hard to keep up.
Did you get to go into his mind palace?
Oh yeah, that is such. I don't want to give it away, but that was so funny in the movie.
Bill does a little overhauling with the Mystery Machine vehicle, which for those of us purists, it's a bit jarring because, you know, he changes some things up. So let's look at this clip, this preview of what he does to the new version of the van.
What is that?
It gives me great pleasure to introduce the future of mystery solving, the Mystery Machine X.
Whoa! Electric, massive touchscreen, an autoclave. This thing has it all.
Except a soul.
Hello, Mystery Incorporated. Welcome to the Mystery Machine X. Where can I take you on this invigorating Halloween night?
Whoa! And you made the nav computer look like you.
Better. This actually is me. I'm just talking to you through the vehicle now.
I'm chilling at home tonight, handing out candy to trick-or-treaters. But I do have a costume. You're sitting in it.
I'm like a nav computer, a science resource, and a friend all wrapped up in one convenient package. Being a hologram is highly entertaining. Hang on, Nye Riders.
We've got a ton of gizmos. You've got virtual reality. You've got all this crazy stuff going on. What is some of your favorite improvements that he puts in there, Maxwell?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm on Bill Nye's side on this one. I'm sort of a Fred man, but it doesn't hurt to have laser guns in your hubcaps.
That's a recurring joke of like Fred's love of this van, and again, like, it's the Mystery Machine. And I was also on Team Fred of like, no, you don't mess with that. We don't need a bionic van. We need the van. What kind of research did you do to basically write for these characters of Bill and Cassandra?
I mean, I've kind of kept up with both of them over the years. I did go back and watch the Elvira movies and a bunch of the TV shows that I could find on YouTube. Watched a bunch of Bill Nye. That's about it. Just that and imagination, I suppose.
Cassandra, what did you think of your cartoon version of yourself? What did you think of the rendering?
Well, I was pretty toned down, we'll say, for this version. Obviously I thought it was cool, and I looked like a Scooby-Doo character, but I was missing a couple of things that I normally.
Just the things that keep it in the G rating, I guess.
It was okay. It still came out good, and I looked pretty hot.
And there's definitely nods to the fact, like, this woman is a siren. Like, she's just a bombshell. We can hear the fun in the voices when you guys are doing these recordings. And especially now, like, you see you guys and you see what ends up on the screen. But what's it like in the booth? For Frank and Matt, what's it like when you guys are channeling Scooby and Shaggy?
It's horrible. He's very greedy. He doesn't give it all. He's very selfish. As a man, as a voice actor, and as a legend, he's very, very all about Frank. Anyone that tells you he has a heart of gold, or that he is the soul of Scooby-Doo, or that he's the kindest man on earth, just know it's a lie.
And this is man's best friend.
He was speaking truth, but you got to remember, Matt is also a director. So whenever I ad-lib or do something I think is really great, Matt will turn to me and go, "You gonna do it that way?"
That's not true.
A smile on your face or a little more energy. Let's do it again.
Just do it again. Just do it again. Just do it better. That's the note I always give to Frank. Just do it again. Do it better. I will say, in all sincerity, that one of the great things about the job is being able to work with Frank and our ability to play together, because we've been doing it for a long time. And there is a real sense of play when we get to work together that with all of us. I mean, Greg, Kate, given the opportunity to add, we've been together for so long now that it comes easily and naturally, and it's a real gift.
Yeah, we might even have scenes where it's written in the script, Scooby and Shaggy do this or whatever, but they don't even write anything because they know that we'll just go with it and ad lib, or the director will tell us that, hey, you guys, this happens, and just create your moment. And we usually just play off each other so quickly now because we know each other well. And it really is fun. It's like flying or skiing or something, when you really get on a roll, it's really, really fun.
Either of you remember when you were consciously aware of it just clicking and figuring like, oh, this works perfectly for us?
I don't have a single memory of that, but I do know that there are several times when we'll get into a jag and we'll make each other laugh, which, having done it for so long, to be able to, you end up giggling is fun. And there's like, there's a thing where, look, we suck all the time. I mean, I'm not telling you every time we do it, it's great, but there are times when it hits, and it's awesome. I mean, and that is one of the gifts about working with Frank, who's been doing it for 50 years. When you work with him and everyone walks into the booth and starts telling them how much they love him. I mean, everyone who walks in the booth holds a space of pride to get a chance to work with him. And it's awesome to see.
He's the only man in show business that if you joke about him if you say he's a jerk, immediately the entire room starts laughing because everyone loves him so much. I often like, what a jerk though, and everybody goes, ah! Because that doesn't happen with everybody. People are like, are you serious? No one questions it.
Frank, You're beloved. I mean, come on, 50 years. That's several generations of Scooby-Doo fans who have basically like, and for a lot of people, Fred was their first crush.
Yes.
I feel very fortunate, number one, to actually have a job this long in this business is insane. And then to work with this cast is truly the greatest joy and gives me so much pleasure and fun when we're actually all there together. Because now you said something like this was a record having all these people. Well, this is almost a record because very rarely do we get to work together as a full group hardly anymore because everybody's so busy. So whenever we are together, it's magic and it's a pure delight. So I consider myself very, very lucky.
Nice. Well, let's take a look at one of the longest running comedy duos in animation history. We've got a clip of Shaggy and Scooby in action here.
Shaggy, it's over. You got them all.
I know. I'm just rewarding us for a job well done. Rousies? Rousies? Absolutely.
Another great thing about this show, other than Elvira and Bill Nye and our cast, it's so wonderful to watch Velma, our sweet Kate, talk and talk and talk. And she's got a lot of words and we love it.
One of my favorite things is this evolution of Velma, because a long time ago, I remember her being like, just like she was Velma, you know, like the brainy one. She had the turtleneck. But now it's like, she's like the genius. She's the role model.
There's something that kind of happened, you know, not that long ago where all the nerds became the cool people, and Velma's in that category big time. And I relate. I'm not saying I'm cool, but I'm definitely a nerd, so that works out well. There's a lot of jargon to be said, and it's always really fun for me when we're recording. If I can get through like, you know, 2 or 3 pages and I feel good, it's it's almost like playing Guitar Hero, and you get through it, you're like, yeah, you know, like that.
And Gray, Daphne, she was the hot one. Now she's the hot one, but she's also like, she's gotten a little weird, and I like that.
Well,
how has that been for you? Like, kind of changing with this character.
The first 10 years of taking over the role, I was just trying to not piss anybody off and be like in all the comment sections, like, what? She doesn't sound anything like. So I was just trying to match the other actresses as closely as possible. Mary Kay Bergman, who was my teacher, she had played her before me, so I was trying to not, you know, piss off any of her fans. But the second 15 years, I've just been like, what part of Gray creeps in here? And it's apparently the weird part.
Yeah, it's because she's so interesting, especially in this, when you start to hear like the fact that even the gang is acknowledging like, oh no, she's done this before. This is a weird thing.
Oh yes, Daphne's gotten weirder and snarkier about every time Fred pairs off to look for clues with some woman, I'm always like, oh, isn't that nice? You know, I mean, she's definitely gotten very snarky about that.
There's some really funny, weird moments for Daphne in this movie that made me laugh out loud so much. Also, I said out loud, I said, I miss Gray. I mean, I miss all of you guys so much because we can't see each other right now, but just hearing Gray do some really weird stuff made me really miss you.
Just, you know, yeah, it's such a weird time. But also I wanted to tell them that Bill Nye's story, because I'm like I love Bill Nye, but I swing dance, you know, as any, you know, vintage chick, you know, that has to be checked in the box. Anyway, but I used to swing dance with him, you know, ages ago, and I, you know, every now and again, he was such a great dancer. He danced with everybody. But I was like, I used to swing dance with him, but I had been so out of practice, and so I casually mentioned, I was like, I don't know if you remember me, but we've danced together at, you know, in Pasadena, and he's like, oh yeah, let's do it on the break. And I was like, oh, he'll forget. He's not going to do it on the break, you know. And I was so out of practice. I was like, please don't let him remember. I do not want to just fall all over Bill Nye. So of course we get out into the lobby, and he just like calls up a you know, a song on his phone, and he sets us down, and he's like, come on, let's go. And we just started swing dancing, and Kate. Oh wait, no, Jay. Somebody in the lobby recorded it. I think it might have been Jay or Kate. But
I'll
anyway,
never forget it though.
I have this
Incredible.
video swing dancing with Bill Nye, and I'm just gonna treasure it forever. I showed my son the other day, and he's like, "What? My mind is like exploding right now. That's so cool." Anyway, so yeah.
I would like, if you send that to us, I want to see that. And why don't we have a swing dance? I will swing dance with you right now. Where are you? You look like you're being kept in like, you look like you're being kept hostage in like a Latin American disco. Are you in Paraguay? Where are you?
So for the core four, you guys have been doing this for so long. You've been working in these characters for so long. The Mystery Incorporated gang has been through so much. What is it like for you guys when a guest star like Cassandra comes in? How does that help keep it fresh? How does it mix things up for you guys?
I will just say that someone like Cassandra coming in continually validates the franchise. The idea that year after year, decade after decade, you're pulling in the brightest and the shiniest stars in the world. It just continues to give credence to the storytelling that Scooby does. And we're super proud to have Cassandra. You are an icon. And it's lovely to share the movie with you and to have this moment with you on the panel. But to me, that's the best thing about it, is that our job collectively is to make sure that this brand, that this cartoon, that these characters go on to the next generations, so that in 100 years from now, the storytelling is still relevant for kids then. And I think that that's what these stars do.
Very well said. You said everything I was going to say perfectly. I will say, Cassandra is, I don't know if people know her whole story, but she's such a funny lady.
Oh,
she's so beautiful and so nice. It's just a thrill. I mean, this sounds sort of like, but it's true. When somebody like Cassandra comes in and plays with us, it just elevates the whole session. And I will say in this show, thanks to Max and his lovely pen, we get to sort of find out a little bit more about her hair, which has always been a mystery to me.
Now, don't give all away my
I'm not going to
secrets.
say anything, but
many mysteries
I was
are solved.
very, very interested in what happens with your hair.
Everybody will be interested in that. They always ask me about my hair, and they're going to find out the real truth now.
That was never the thing I was interested in.
Do you guys, aside from Cassandra, present company accepted, do you guys have any other favorite past guest stars that have come in to play with you?
Yeah, well, we just did a very meta Scooby-Doo episode where we are the guest stars. The four of us are the guest stars. So Matt, Lillard, Kate, Gray.
Oh, wow.
I can't believe they invited Gray, but whatever, that happened. And Frank. And that was super fun, because we got to play ourselves.
Elvira and Scooby-Doo, they are synonymous with Halloween. Like, people think, like, when you think of scary stuff, but fun stuff, and like just that mix of Halloween and humor, those two really do work together. For all of you, what is your stance on Halloween? Like, how much do you love it? I mean, Cassandra, I expected your home to look like a gothic crypt or something.
By the way, her coffee cup is a spider, which is incredible. I mean, when that came up, I was like, you can't plan that. That just happened. Like, she has that in her house. It's incredible.
It's going to be actually 40 years next year, 40 years that I've been doing Elvira next year. So I lived in a house that was like living, in the Addams family house for a long time. And I don't know, after about 30 years, I went, I need someplace bright and cheery, so I kind of switched over. I got a new house, and it's kind of the opposite of that. Although I do have many little items sprinkled around that are pretty creepy. But obviously Halloween is my favorite holiday of the year. I mean, come on. And I'm planning some big things coming up with it this year, even though we're all on lockdown. Some music videos and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's such a great fit for me, because I feel like, Elvira is an iconic brand, and here she is with this other iconic brand that's been around, as long as I have, longer than I have. How long is Scooby-Doo now?
50 years.
I hate to call them brands, but two icons getting together and doing this, it just seems so right, so perfect.
What about the rest of you guys? Are you big Halloween fans?
I have got 3 children, so I have to be at least for the next, 10 years. So I've got a 13-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 3-year-old. And so they are not, I don't know what we're going to do this year. I said, can we just stand in the front yard dressed up and people can just pelt us with candy? I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll have to figure it out.
I figure we're all just going to go as doctors.
Yes, good idea.
We're already wearing masks.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. We've got the masks, so might as well. Anybody else?
I like standing at the door and seeing the kids when they come. Now, this is when I actually lived in the city. Now I see no one, Maybe it's my personality. At the door when the kids come, and I think this is a time for me like to have so much fun and entertain, and somebody will come in and all of a sudden I'll go,
Hey, hello, who are you?
just freaks them out, and I'm having so much fun, and then they'll say, that doesn't sound like him, or you kind of sound like him, or whatever, but it's fun but a little disappointing sometimes.
This will be my first Halloween I've ever been home in 40 years.
Oh my God.
Wow, right?
First
Yeah.
time. It'll be
Where are
bizarre.
you usually?
Usually I'm doing 3, 4, 5, 7 gigs on one night in some different town, flying to another town, showing up at parties. I mean, I work on Halloween normally from the time I have like a love-hate relationship with Halloween. People go, you love Halloween, I go to do, but it's exhausting.
I'm guessing, Matthew, you probably get a spike in attention being paid to you during October with everyone watching horror movies.
Well, I'm super famous, so there's always attention. That's a joke.
We all watch Scream.
That's why I go every year. I go dressed as the guy from Scream. But I'm the old version of the guy from Scream. Yeah, I don't like Halloween. Halloween's exhausting, and it's just not my jam. I don't know. I know it's horrible to say. I know.
Kate, what about you?
Yeah, I used to babysit a lot, and I would always make all the costumes, like homemade costumes for the kids I babysat for. And then one year I made this little girl a spaghetti. It was a table, and she had the spaghetti on her hair, and then the wine glass, and then I hooked up music. This is like before iPhones, it would be a lot easier, but like I hooked up a little tape player that played Italian music, and she had a lot to carry, but it was great.
That is the nerdiest story you have ever told, ever. You are the biggest nerd in the world. Let me get this straight. If I hired you as a babysitter, you would dress my kid up for Halloween, I would pay you thousands of dollars to do that.
Oh, I did it all the time.
That's incredible.
For minimum wage.
For minimum wage.
Kate, you are the best.
Oh, that's very sweet. Well, I don't know. I do like Halloween for dressing up, and also I just love holiday spirit in whatever way. So I love seeing people how they decorate their houses, and I think it's just fun that way.
I always say that Halloween is the best holiday because 1, you don't have to have any boring dinners with your relatives. 2, you don't have to buy any gifts for anybody. It's just all about, me. It's like you just dress up and have fun and party and this.
And horror stuff. It's great. Frank, you are the OG, so I want to hear your take on this crew versus the original quartet. How different are things now?
It's really kind of hard to say. Everybody is so different, the personalities, but the soul and the quality and the acting is so incredible now, and the layers and the complexity of this family. And we are so tight and been together so long. It really is a remarkable crew to work with. And I say that in all honesty. When we sit and when we are all actually together, Matt is so kind, not only to me, and he literally really is. I know we make fun of each other all the time, but he's so good. And then Gray, who is doing her lines, she sometimes is distracted by things like cell phone, books, movies, anything she's
Sparkly
knitting.
objects in the background.
But she may forget a line, but Matt is always there to tap her on the knee so that she comes in right on time, and boom, we keep on going.
Yeah.
Kate will do the same, and we kind of do that for each other so we don't have any interruptions in the show. We're very supportive of each other. I think that also the talent, the soul, and the mind that this group brings together has created the ultimate Scooby family, and I'm just delighted to be part of it.
You've all been working together, and you just talked about like the amount of time that you spend doing this. I'm going to put you all on the spot. Who is the funniest in the recording booth?
Gray. Gray is funny. Gray
think
is by far the dirtiest.
Yeah.
Ray has the best stories.
Kate told me to start doing stand-up like when we first, like, you know, a few years ago, and I was like, oh, I dabbled in it, which is how I got into this job. I was terrible at stand-up, and somebody was like, hey, you need to write jokes, but you do great voices. You should go do voices. And so while you're writing your jokes, and so I was like, okay, so I went and did voices, and then I was like, I'm never going back to stand-up. This is the best job ever. But I kept cracking jokes in the booth, and Kate was like, you should do stand-up, because, you know, she's an amazing comedian, has all these comedy specials, and I was like, maybe I'll do an open mic. So I did an open mic, and I did all these things, and then I made an Amazon comedy special like the first year that I started doing comedy. I probably should have waited until I was a little funnier, but whatever, it's on Amazon.
No, you're so funny, Great. I'm so glad you're doing stand-up.
Right? That's amazing.
Now, I got to be totally honest with you. I used to do stand-up, and I thought I was a real funny guy, and so on and so forth. It is my pleasure now, just as the old guy, just to sit there and watch these three. And I'm telling you, they are all hysterical.
Frank, could you tell us a story, like any story?
Yeah.
You have so many good ones.
I love the Elvis. Tell us the Elvis.
Elvis, yeah, Elvis.
Oh.
Elvis would have loved Elvira.
That's true.
Oh.
Actually,
Do you have an
There was,
Elvis. You can read all about that in my autobiography.
Elvis story in there.
Oh yeah.
producer introduced Elvis and the crew, all of us. He didn't come in until about maybe 2 weeks into the picture, and we'd all shot all these shots, and he was in Hawaii doing a film, just finishing up. And so when he came in, we were so excited to meet him, and I could hardly even talk. I was so excited to meet him. And anyhow, so the director said, you know, because he knew I did all this very sophisticated comedy, dog sounds. And he said, would you do your dog sounds for Elvis? And I said, yeah, man, I'll see your dog sounds. I said, okay. And so I did an old dog in the morning. And a bunch of stuff like that, and cats. Then they fight. And then the big one, which he really liked, was a dog choking. So this was a dog choking. Well, that was it. Elvis, from then on, we were like best friends. He said, hey, Red, man, you got to check this guy out. He does a choking dog, man. Check it out.
Cassandra, now you tell an Elvis story.
I can't tell the Elvis story here on the Scooby-Doo show. You'll have to buy my autobiography next year and read about it.
Is it available now, the autobiography?
No, it had to be delayed because of the pandemic. I couldn't fly around to do book signings and everything, so we pushed it up until next year.
Yes.
Very, very interesting book. I may never work again.
Or work a lot more. All right, well, listen, you guys, this has been so much fun. Do any of you guys have a favorite moment from the film, either like one that you recorded or saw, or anything that you love that happened?
I mean, the ending for me. I mean, honestly, when I was watching it last night, I was just laughing so hard I thought I'd fall off the couch. Obviously, that's right, and I can't talk much about it, but Maxwell, you did such a brilliant job writing that. It was so freaking funny.
It's actually a double whammy.
Just when you think it couldn't get any more bizarre, it does.
That's Maxwell. I have to tell you, that song, I loved it so much, and there's something so like it just is a throwback in the best way, and I loved it, and I love that it happens 2 times. The whole thing with the music, I didn't know.
Oh, the opening song. Oh, that was all Andy Sturmer. That's not mine, but
that's
yeah,
not yours.
he did a great job on that one.
It's great. It's awesome.
And the second song is like, it feels like it's a version of the original theme song, but it's got this whole twist. It's really fun. Anyone else have favorite moments?
For me, I loved Freddie's Rambo moment when he exposes his chest. That's all I'm going to say. Totally.
They really lean into it.
Got to get
Yeah.
something in there for the Fred fans.
Thank you for
Right,
that.
right, exactly. I want to thank you guys so much. This was a great panel. Thank you guys to the, thank you everyone in the audience. Thank you to the panelists. Thank you New York Comic Con. And don't forget, Happy Halloween. Scooby-Doo is now available to own on DVD and digital HD. And since we've got you here, we've also got one more Halloween treat for all of you. So you stay right here and you'll get to see the first 8 minutes of the film. So enjoy. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Happy Halloween. Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Good evening, everyone. It's me, that classy lassie with the sassy chassis, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Happy Halloween!
We got him! Bun me shop, second floor.
Covert operations are the quiet ones, Freddy.
Oh, right. I got excited. Anyway, we got him. Bun me shop, second floor.
He's gotta know we're coming now. Let's go, guys. Places ASAP at start of project.
Like, man, I am not going out there and getting eaten.
Guys, we're here to prove that there is no monster. And P.S., we have a flawless track record.
You don't understand, Velma. I'm like the boy who cried wolf. I keep warning you, but like you won't believe me until I finally get eaten.
I don't think you guys were listening when I told you that story. Point is, being afraid is a waste of time. Monsters aren't real.
Excuse me! We don't know these guys!
Are you serial?
All right, gang. Let's solve this mystery.
Your days of scaring people on Highway 13 are over, Haunted Scarecrow. Or should we call you regular Scarecrow?
Whoa, I guess you should.
Aren't you sweaty in there?
Not just any scarecrow, but the scarecrow. AKA Dr. Jonathan Crane, former professor of psychology in Gotham City turned supervillain, and recently an escapee from Arkham Asylum.
Nice work. That's a mighty big fish you kids trapped there.
It wasn't a trap. It was an app. They're totally different things.
Still, this one's wanted for crimes all over the East Coast. I can already feel the paperwork burrowing into my skull.
Any last words before the law throws a book on you? I would've. Come on, say it with me. I would have gotten away with it too, if it hadn't been...
Oh, but I am getting away with it.
Drones!
A dead man's switch. You shut down the signal I use to control my gas grenade drones, but that same signal is the only thing that stops my friends here from plunging this entire town into 76 hours of unmitigated terror. And so the fate of Crystal Cove was left in the capable hands of the avocado toast generation.
I gotta let him go.
Wait!
Huh?
Shaggy, it's over. You got them all.
I know. I'm just rewarding us for a job well done. Ravsies? Ravsies? Absolutely!
Special thanks to Mystery Incorporated for proving once again that most creeps are just regular guys with bad gas and worse ideas. All right, let's see some dancing up in here. Elvira's Halloween Highway of Horror Parade is back on.
No, sorry, that's not true. This is sort of a federal crime scene now.
This isn't possible. I was in hiding until you meddling young adults came along. How could you have known where to find me?
We're Mystery Incorporated. This is who we are. This is what we do.